This week we've been planting new trees in our food forest. We've been discovering rare perennial tubers that we had completely forgotten about. We've planted out our first seedlings, been sowing more seeds. We've been harvesting beautiful salads and herbs and fresh greens from our polytunnel. I'm also going to share with you something that Dan is really excited about trying to grow this year, and also one thing that went wrong with our hotbed. I want to start today's video by saying a massive thank you to all of you who commented on our previous video and who clicked the thumbs up button. It made such a difference to that video, and it got more views in the first few days than any of our other videos. So if you would like to help us keep growing our channel and make this video a big success as well, please keep clicking that thumbs up button and drop in the comments down below the video, even if it's just a peace and plants. We love hearing from you, and we love to know who is watching our videos as well. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome to spring, folks. It is now officially the start of the season here for us at Freedom Forest, because we've got seeds direct in the ground. And we have also planted out our first seedlings just yesterday that we started in here in trays. So a bit of an update for you on how our seeds have been going so far this season. And it's been a little bit of a mixed bag for us. Some things have done amazingly well, like our herbs, they're coming on really, really well. Onions have been a mixed bag, so we've got this tray of onions here which is looking really good, but I've sown another 2 trays of onions with really patchy germination. And the other thing that has been the same for us on that has been peas. The peas that I sowed from saved seed have been amazing, and I planted out purple sugar snap peas yesterday, but all of our peas that I've sown from bought seed have been so patchy that I'm actually going to be sowing more pea seeds again today, because I don't think we're going to have enough from what's going on so far, and I'll have to open a new packet and see if that makes a difference. But yeah, so definitely 2 things we're going to be focusing on this year is saving our own pea seeds more, and maybe trying to save our own onion seed as well, because those seeds are definitely better, fresher. Tomatoes are always, something always happens with my tomatoes, and usually the peppers and that every year, and this year has not been any different to normal. So I'm now on my 3rd sowing of tomatoes. The first sowing you might have seen in one of our videos when we first set up this propagation area. On the first night after I sowed, they all got eaten by mice or dug into, so I had to re-sow everything. The next tray came on lovely, but because we were in a frost period just after they germinated, we kept them inside for a little bit longer than I normally would have, and we didn't have the hotbed ready quite yet, I don't think either, so I kept them inside and they went a little bit leggy. And some of them have been fine since. These ones here were some of the leggy ones, and I've since potted them on, which I don't always do with the tomatoes, and I think some of them are going to be okay. Another variety, the Rising Trubes, they were looking good, and they weren't leggy actually at all, because they come up a little bit later. But we learned something new about our hotbed just a few days too late, and that is that after about a few days to a week of your hotbed getting active, getting up to heat, it really off-gasses ammonia from the horse bedding that we put in here. And that ammonia actually burns, or can burn, some of the more fragile plants. So it got some of our beetroot seeds that were just around the outside of the tray. And these tomatoes here, which were my non-leggy tomatoes, they got really badly burnt as well after about 3 days of being on the hotbed. So we've looked into this now, and so now we just know we need to give it a bit of a period of time before we put plants on, but it's all great learning. The hotbed is now really hot. At the moment it is reading 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 60 degrees centigrade. So we're getting really nice heat off here still. We do need to top it up, but we're actually going to top it up with grass clippings and wood chips this time, because we don't want to have a standing off period where we need to take the plants off if we put the horse bedding on again. So that's our plan. We'll keep you posted on how it works for us. So yeah, so back to the tomatoes. So this tray here is actually my third sowing of tomatoes, and I've done the same again, which are two of our favourite varieties. The Riesentrube is a cherry and a really prolific cherry, and the Cherokee is a big purple, almost like a beefsteak tomato. Amazing flavour. Oh, the other thing about Save Seed, the other one we've noticed here, this row here is Cape Gooseberry, and at the back you can see the seed has germinated really fast, the growth is strong, and in the front half of this row here is the bort seed, and that is only just starting to come through, probably at least 10 days behind the other seed. We had a really good dose of rain after I planted everything out, which meant it all got watered in really well, and our little stream was absolutely raging. So whilst we had a pretty steep learning curve with our other hotbed, Dan has actually already built us a second hotbed that he just finished this morning, because we really see the benefit of having this little bit extra heat in an off-grid setup that we can do for ourselves, and because we've got access to quite a lot of material that we can use for this, it just makes sense. But you'll see here, this is Dan's kind of tropical section of plants, and something that he is trying this year. He always usually tries something a little bit out there every year, and this year he has got an obsession with growing taro. So this is all of his taro here, and then we've also got some banana plants down here, because we may well have lost some of our hardy tropicals this year because of the harsh winter. So we want to get loads more bananas in because they do look beautiful, and hopefully it would just be adding to our collection rather than replacing. And then we've also started potting on our sweet potato slips, which are down the end, and all of these things will really benefit from having just that little bit extra heat underneath them. And we're not exactly sure yet how well this one will work, where it's a lot more shallower, but it's all just learning and experimenting and seeing what we can do. lots more seeds to sow now today as well for my end of March sowings. And I'm going to be doing a lot of flowers today as well as all the edibles. So I'm just trying to work out which ones to put together in which trays here now. Well, that's my seed sow marathon done for today. And I have sown beetroots, I've sown more peas, I've sown radishes, more onions. It's getting a little bit late for onions, but I thought I'd try it anyway. I've sown a few more herbs, celery, some more brassicas, some cauliflower and some more kales. And then I've also sown some flowers, some French and African marigolds, and then things like cosmos and some salvias and pot marigolds and all the things that we love to brighten up the place. So I'm going to give these a really good water now, and then I'm going to put the lids onto these domes, because this is how we are protecting our seeds from the mice eating them before they germinate. If you watched one of my previous videos, you'll know that we had the mice come in and eat all of our seeds. And it was actually one of our followers who said about putting them inside plastic containers. And we kind of panicked when the seeds first got eaten, and we actually forgot we had a load of these propagators with the covers that we used to use, because a lot of them are actually heated ones with plugs on the back, but we don't use them in here anymore. And that is how we are now protecting the seeds that don't need to be on the heat of the hotbed. So yeah, awesome. So we really love getting comments from you guys as well, because it helps us and sometimes reminds us of things that we need to be doing as well. And the next lot of seeds that we'll be starting in probably only about a week's time will be a lot of our more heat-loving seeds, like melons and sweet corn, and then after that we'll be moving on to the courgettes and all the winter squashes as well by the end of April. It's hard work being Murph. Dan's planted up our potatoes this week too, and we actually plant all of them out at the same time, and then we harvest accordingly to the variety. This works particularly well with some of the Sarpo variety which we grow. Sarpo Mirror will actually just keep on growing and reshooting for the whole of the season, so we end up with some massive potatoes for our main crop variety. We've made a few other videos about the Sarpo potato range, so check those out if you'd like to learn a little bit more about these potatoes. So all of our salad plants have really leapt back into life now, and some of the herbs and the rocket we're actually struggling to keep up with now. Even though we lost a lot of these plants over the winter, the salad plants, the lettuce leaf plants, we've still got a really good amount of salad to be getting through now. But all through the winter I've only been watering about once a month, and now everything is let back into life and things are warming up in the polytunnels. I've got to start remembering to come in and water in here a lot more regularly. And even things like the rocket, the salad rocket over here, which you may have seen me cut back in one of my previous vlog videos, even that has completely grown back, and we're getting massive harvests off it again, which is amazing. And now we've got even more greens and lovely fresh food. I'll probably give it another good haircut in a week's time before it starts flowering again, and then I can just keep doing that until the plants eventually die back, or if I have to, I'll pull them right out. We try and leave the roots in the ground though wherever we can, because that actually really benefits the soil, just having the roots in the ground, even if the plant isn't alive anymore, which obviously when it is has massive benefits to the soil as well. But even when the plant is dying, by leaving the roots in the ground, the roots will actually break down and then give back to the soil as well. So anything we can do like that, we like to just try and be mindful with. This chervil, this has just gone ballistic over the last few days. It's absolutely leapt into life. It's gone from literally just being an inch off the ground to coming into this massive bush just the last few days. I love putting big handfuls of the herbs into our salads though. It's just amazing, adds so much flavour, and that is what it's all about after all. Enjoying the beautiful food that we grow here. So another job I need to be getting on with in this polytunnel is getting all of the wood chip back down on this bed now that Dan has put the watering hose in place. But before I do that, I'm actually just going to push a few chickpeas into the ground. And I grew chickpeas in here for the first time last year, which you may have seen on some of our polytunnel videos from last summer. But I've learnt a little bit more about them since then, and I think I need to plant them a bit earlier. So yeah, I'm going to push some into the ground now before I put the wood chips back over, and hopefully give them an earlier start. Well, it's actually a little bit cooler in here, and then I'll harvest them earlier. I'm just going to put them down the front here because they actually stay quite small, and I soaked these chickpeas overnight as well to soften the seed off. And these are just actually store-bought organic chickpeas that I had in the cupboard, and that's what I used last year, and they grew, and we got a reasonable harvest off the plants that I had. So I'll try it again this year, hopefully slightly better with my timing, and yeah, we'll see what we get. And yeah, then I should probably look at either saving my own seed or buying a specific variety if it's something that we're going to continue growing for ourselves. Because although these are organic seed, they could still be like an F1 seed, and that would mean that they won't grow exactly as these ones have done that I've got here. If they're an F1, you could get lots of different traits come through when you save seeds from F1s, which that's one of the reasons why we tend not to use F1 seeds here. Murphs is sat out in the sun waiting for me out the front of the polytunnel like a good boy. My little shadow. And I've just turned the drip line system on in here to water our polytunnel potatoes, which have finally started sprouting. So that's been about 4 weeks. I'll have to check the date on that, but since we planted them, and we realised that this little experiment might not quite go to plan this year, because we should have started with chitted potatoes, but we just got a bit excited about the prospect of doing it, and we didn't have any chitted potatoes that were extra earlies, so we thought we'd try it anyway, see what happens. All good learning. Even if we get some nice small potatoes a little bit earlier out of it, it will still be a bonus. So Dan is up giving our Jerusalem artichoke bed a really good sort out and tidy up, because it hasn't been done, well, I don't think ever since we first planted the Jerusalem artichokes. But he's called me up because apparently he has found something really exciting up here.
So I've found something really exciting here that I put in about 3 years ago, and in all honesty had pretty much completely forgotten about. And it's called Apios americana, which is the American groundnut, or Indian potato it's sometimes called. And it grows on, it's a vine, but underground it has these long strings of root with little tubers on, and I literally have an entire sack full of the stuff here, so I'm really excited. I think tonight we will look into the best way to cook these and give them a go.
So my last job for today, and probably for this video, is to plant up these elderberries which arrived a couple of days ago. And I've decided that I want to plant a bit of an elderberry hedge all along this back fence line of our food forest. Elderberries are something that I use a lot, and it's something that we don't have on the land here at the moment. We have got a small one down here that we put in the food forest a couple of years ago, but it was really, really small, so it hasn't done much yet. So we've bought a few bigger plants, and elderberries are great because once they get established, they're generally quite fast growing. So this will also help to create a slightly higher canopy layer in our food forest. And obviously the elderberries are not only awesome for us to use, but they are amazing for all the wildlife as well. So I'm just going to dot these where I've got spaces along the back, and yeah, hopefully they will grow really well for us. So that is 7 elderberries in all along this back fence line, and we've still got a couple more plants to dot in some of our wild areas of the land up by the woodland. So we're going to get those in as soon as possible, because it is actually getting a little bit late for planting bare root trees now. I think bare root season is actually finished. I think it's the middle of March, but we got these trees just in time. And we have got a whole load of other exciting stuff to be planting into the food forest in the next couple of weeks hopefully, but we do need to get in here and spend a bit of time just de-brambling around some of the shrubs and just having a little bit of a tidy up and planning where to put a lot of this new stuff. So we'll hopefully be getting a video to you really soon about that, because there is some stuff that I'm really excited to be adding this year that we're looking forward to sharing with you. But anyway, that's it from us today. Thank you so much for watching, and once again, thank you for all the love that you gave the last video, and we would massively appreciate if you can do the same on this video, please. So click the thumbs up button, drop us some comments down below, and also share these videos with anybody that you think would enjoy them too. And we will catch you here again soon. Peace and plants.